Hey everybody, welcome back to Das Lab. Today it is homemade pizza. So we're going to start off with homemade pizza dough. Here's the recipe. Funny thing, this is all photocopied, it was burned. I used to keep the the manual in here like that for storage, and once I had the recipe memorized for some tea biscuits or something I was making, and I started cooking, and my son came down and said, something's burning, and I said, well, thanks a lot, that's my cooking, you know. And it turns out there's a heater element underneath this removable pan, and I was burning up the manual, so sure enough. So that's what's left of it. Okay, key things: use the exact amount that it says, put them in the order it says, and make sure they're at room temperature. So we're starting off with, we're going to make a 2.5 pound loaf, 15 ounces of room temperature water, followed by 3 TBS of olive oil, and I hope there's 3 tablespoons left in here. Ein, zwei, I learned to pour like that at the Long Island Iced Tea House in London, England. That's how we poured our drinks. Okay, 3 of those. And I don't want to use that same spoon for anything else. Next is 4 1/2 cups of flour. How am I doing that? Whoa, sorry, a little bit of an earthquake here. Flour. I'm not a flour child per se, but I always start off, first of all, there's usually somebody in here talking when I'm trying to count, and I hate missing count. So I got my 1/2 cup. How do I make sure that it's at the right level? My lovely wife taught me this. Tap, 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 packs it down, scrape it off, and when you come over here, if I just poured it out, you gotta tap it off because there could be some residual stuck in there. That's a 1/2. And then 4 of these bad boys. Scrape. 1. 2. 3. And 4. That takes care of that. Ever since the pandemic, I've been using bulk flour because we've been making a lot of bread. I'll put this away and I'll be. Alright, next on the list, 4 tablespoons of whole wheat flour. I don't know if you recall, but I'm storing a lot of my stuff instead of bags from the bulk barn. I'm storing them in containers like this. It's been working out really well for me. I've tried not making this with whole wheat flour and just using extra flour. What a difference. I don't know what the whole wheat does, but it sure makes a difference. And you really try to get your spoons level. I'm not packing them down like I was with the knife and the scrape method, but that takes care of that. And you know, over here at Das Lab, we like to try to clean as we go. Next on the list, and this is a Charles Craft bread machine. You can watch me make banana bread if you look up in the keep looking up, and you'll see a link to where you can see the bread machine at work. I got 2 tablespoons of sugar and 2.5 teaspoons of salt. Bulk sugar. Oh, there's that thing. 2 of these, and again, put them in the order it says. Now, because we're going to add yeast at the end, you want your yeast to be you want your yeast to get a chance to mix in before it gets subjected to the salt or sugar. So I kind of pour them around the edge, and I make a little pocket there for the yeast to go in. Next, we are at 2.5 teaspoons teaspoons of salt. And again, I'd like to start with the half each first. And again, I'm not going to pour that right in the middle. Pouring that on the edge. That's a half. And then 2 teaspoons. 1. 2. And then, of course, I'm using a different set of spoons here because that would be wrong to use the same ones I just had dipped in salt. And now we're 1.5 teaspoons of bread machine yeast. You don't want to overdo this. So and I'm going into the middle. I don't know if you can see, I made a little pocket there, and that should allow it to mix in a bit first before it gets too cozy with the salt and the sugar, because they're gonna work on the yeast in various chemical ways. Close the lid. I got a selection here. Not sure if you can see that. You probably can, yes. And I selected to pizza dough. I have no options for loaf size or crust because it's going to take an hour. And after that hour, this will be risen up a little bit. And then all I do is I take that right out, put it in the fridge. Okay, I leave it in the pan and everything. That's been my best success. Leave it in the pan, and then when I get home tonight after work, we'll see you what it actually does. And you can see there's no cooking in this, right? It's just going to sit there and it's going to do the little stirring, and you can see how the yeast is starting to get mixed in already, away from the salt and whatnot. And then this will go fast, and it'll go counterclockwise and back and forth. So it's going to do its magic for a little while, and we'll see what it looks like when we get home. All right, see you then. All right, it is what, 8 hours later, and kids took it out of there because I was already gone to work, and put it in here. And look at that. That is the beast. Ugh. So it's a little bit dry on top, probably. I could have coated it with a bit of olive oil, but I wasn't here to do that. So it kind of is what it is. So I'm going to divide that in half and take it out, and I'll start rolling it here and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I just cut it in half about. I didn't weigh it or anything like that. There's a rolling pin. Fix that up in another episode. These handles oh, I don't think it fixed very good. I thought the handles were glued on nicely. I'm taking lots of flour. This is all perfectly cleaned here, and I'm now going to work this a bit and get it into a nice little dome. I'm putting some of the dry stuff inside and getting some of the fresh stuff out here. I tell you what a difference that whole wheat flour makes. Okay. So make it into a nice ball, like a semicircle sort of dome. Okay, make sure you don't want the flour, and we are going to start on making round. I used to use cookie sheets. Round. Best thing I ever bought was these little pizza thingies. Don't go in with the rolling pin too early, because there's no point. You got a lot of work to do by hand here first. Get it out. Can't have too much flour. It's not a pie baking contest or anything like that. And I stretch it. You can't see what I'm doing. And I believe it or not, you can't probably see, but I put my fists in there and I start to just kind of tease it out. Okay, let gravity do the job. takes a while, but eventually it does start to relax a little bit. And it's hard work. I gotta make it a lot bigger than that pie plate because it's gonna shrink. It always shrinks back a bit. And you can get it pretty round. I'm happy with this. It never quite turns out the same way twice. And this seems to be one of the better ones. Good consistency. Right now I've preheated the oven up to 420. And I'm about 2/3 of the way up in the racks. And you can sure see how it shrinks. Flip it over. Yeah. Well, that's flat. Whoop. Careful for things like that. So we're getting close. Oh, I know what I did differently. I made the wrong size batch. I'm wondering why I got so much pizza dough. I was making the thinner ones. The smaller batches, I could make 3 different sizes. And I made the big ones. Oh, well, that's going to be thick crust pizza today. I'm sure nobody's going to mind that. Alright. So that's just about one. And believe me, yeah, it looks huge compared to that pan, which are non-stick pans, but once I get it on there, okay, and you start cinching it in, that's when you start to make your little edge crust, because it does shrink up. See, it's not really too big after all, is it? And there's one. Here comes the number 2. So part of it's really sticky and part of it's really dry. I'm just trying to kind of even it out. It all gets rolled in. It's a pizza. I forgot that I was making the, when I make dinner rolls, I make the biggest batch possible. And I forgot that lately when I've been making pizza, I should be making the smallest batch possible because we've been eating thinner crust. Now you can see this one, it's already shrinking. I'm going to have to fix that up a little bit. It's a stretchy. Yeah. Well, I'll get this other one rolled out and then I'll come back when it's topping time. How do you shut this darn thing off here? Alright, so it is now time to make it up. Start off with a little bit of pizza sauce. Swirl it around. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of dough. Now, I don't know how long you could, in advance, you could roll these out. Like, let's say you're making a kid's party, birthday, make your own pizza party or something. If you could do it and leave them for a couple hours, I mean, you'd have to experiment. But, not really sure. A little bit of garlic powder. A little bit of Italian seasoning. And then the cheese. Gotta use scissors for this one. I don't know if I'm just becoming an old man or what, but I can hardly get by and open any bag by hand now. I almost always have to use scissors. I don't know what the deal is, but probably just getting old. You know, cheese to taste as much as you like, or as little as you like. I kind of like a lot, but cheese is salty, right? You gotta be careful. Spread that out. Take half the pepperonis. We got another bunch of people in this house are going to be making their own pizza in a minute or two. But I don't think they want to be seen on Das Lab. So they're off doing whatever they do in the netherworld. And a red pepper. And a green pepper. It's very Christmassy. And a whole bunch of olives. Not olives, onions. Looking at the olives, grabbing the onions. Story of my life. Went for reach for an onion, grabbed an olive. Or vice versa. And the Munchkins don't like any olives, so we'll just pretend they were never even on that plate, because they might not even eat off this plate if they saw that there was olives on it at some point in time. Because it'd be contaminated all to hell, right? And that's my pizza. So the next stage is when it comes out of the oven. Okay, so we'll see you in 20 minutes. Okay, now's the time for taking it out. So, let's see. Oh yeah. Hot, 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 hot. So nice and bubbly, and then if you look underneath, you wouldn't want it much darker than that. And you can see that the crust really did bubble up a little bit more than I hoped. But that's not the end of the world. So just to show you, yeah, it's perfect. You're not going to watch me eat, and I'm not going to cut them up for you. So that's it, homemade pizza from start to finish at Das Lab. If you like what you saw, subscribe, hit that like button, and don't forget, be safe, have fun, and don't get any on you, but get some in you. See you next time.